Imagine you are sitting behind the wheel of like a really high-performance sports car.
Oh, that's a good place to start.
Right. So you drop your foot, you just absolutely slam the gas pedal to the floor, and the engine absolutely screams.
Just max RPMs.
Exactly. The RPMs are redlining, the exhaust is roaring, you're making this massive amount of noise, but the car is in neutral.
Ouch. Yeah, you aren't moving an inch.
Not an inch. All of that immense effort, all that raw speed in this heavy engine, but absolutely zero power is, actually reaching the wheels.
It's a painful thing to picture for any car enthusiast, I mean, truly. But it actually happens to be the perfect visual for what takes place on driving ranges all over the world. Literally every single day.
Yeah, you just see it everywhere.
We see golfers generating incredible amounts of physical effort. I mean, sweating through their shirts, swinging out of their shoes.
Right, just swinging so hard.
But they're experiencing zero transfer of that energy to the actual golf ball.
Which brings us to the core mission of today's deep dive. We are really stepping into the biomechanics of a powerful, efficient golf swing today.
Yes, and specifically, we need to dissect this massive trend in modern golf instruction.
Yeah, this pervasive idea of aggressive rotation. We really need to explore why trying to turn your body as fast as humanly possible might actually be the exact thing destroying your clubhead speed.
To understand why all that effort is essentially wasted, why your engine is stuck in neutral, basically we first have to look at what the modern golf industry has been teaching you.
Yeah.
And why untangling this specific topic is just so vital to developing a functional golf game.
Well, let's look at that instruction landscape for a second. If you open up a golf magazine, if you just scroll through your social media feed for 5 minutes, you are bombarded with this prevailing advice.
Oh, completely. It's everywhere.
It's all about opening the body as aggressively as possible toward the target.
The terminology is it's baked into the culture now. You hear coaches constantly telling players to fire the pelvis, right?
Oh, yeah. Clear the hip.
Clear the hips, rotate the ribcage forcefully, drive the shoulders rapidly to the left through impact. All of that.
The underlying assumption, the modern myth, really, is that more rotational speed in the body automatically equals more speed in the club.
Exactly.
But I have to push back on that, though, on behalf of anyone who has ever taken a lesson. We are universally taught that power starts from the ground up.
Sure, that's a fundamental principle.
Right. So if that rule is true, shouldn't violently firing the hips and the chest create the biggest, fastest chain reaction possible?
I see where you're going with that.
I mean, I'm picturing the mechanics of cracking a mole whip. You snap the handle, and that massive wave of energy travels down the leather to create this like a supersonic crack at the end.
Okay, the whip is a great mental model. It really is. But it actually reveals why the spin, as fast as you can, theory, falls apart in the human body.
Wait, really? How so?
Think about that whip. A chain reaction only works if the energy is allowed to transfer smoothly from one section to the next.
Right, the wave has to travel.
Exactly. So if you snap the handle of a whip, but you clamp your hand down tightly on the middle of the leather, what happens?
Oh, I see. The wave stops. The end of the whip just sort of flops over. It never cracks.
Exactly. The energy dissipates entirely because the transfer was interrupted.
Yeah.
And that brings us directly to the precise scientific anatomy of the golf swing.
Which is really what we want to dig into.
Right. In biomechanics, this energy transfer is governed by what we call the kinematic sequence.
Let's break that down, because this feels like the secret engine under the hood of every professional swing.
It absolutely is. The kinematic sequence outlines the precise, required order of operations for energy to move efficiently through the body.
Okay, so what is that order?
Well, the power does start from the ground, moving into the pelvis. From the pelvis, the energy must transfer to the ribcage.
Okay, pelvis to ribcage?
Yep. From the ribcage, it moves to the shoulder complex, then to the arms, then to the hands, and finally out to the golf club.
But it's not just a matter of turning all those things on at the exact same time, right?
Not at all. And that is the absolute trap of aggressive rotation. It's not just about starting that sequence. It's about a highly coordinated relay race.
A relay race. I like that.
Each segment must accelerate, but then crucially, it must decelerate at the precise right time to crack that whip.
Wait, decelerate? You're saying a golfer actually has to slow their hips down to hit the ball further?
Yes, absolutely.
That feels completely counterintuitive.
I know, but think of a relay runner handing off a baton. If the first runner just keeps sprinting at top speed, what happens?
The second runner can never grab the baton.
Right. The pelvis accelerates to build energy, but then it actually has to brake It has a decelerate, which forcefully slings that energy up into the rib cage.
Oh, wow.
And then the rib cage accelerates, and it hits the brakes, slinging the energy into the shoulder complex and the arms.
So if your hips just keep spinning as fast as they can toward the target.
They never pass the baton. The energy gets stuck.
Man, that brings us to one specific link in this chain that seems to dictate whether the whole swing succeeds or fails. You mentioned the shoulder complex.
Yes, the shoulder complex is massive here. From an anatomical perspective, your arms do not operate independently from your torso.
Right, they're not just floating out there.
Exactly. They're connected to your rib cage through this highly intricate network. We're talking about the shoulder joints themselves, the shoulder blades, the scapulae, the upper back, and all that surrounding musculature.
So it's basically the bridge.
Exactly. It is the functional bridge between your rotating body and your moving arms.
I want to make sure I'm visualizing this correctly. During a swing, the arms aren't just swinging freely from a fixed hinge.
Far from it. The shoulder blades actually have to glide across the back of the rib cage.
Okay.
And while that is happening, the upper arms are rotating, elevating, adducting, and extending.
Okay, hold on. Define adducting for a second. What exactly is the arm doing there?
Good question. Adducting just means pulling something toward the midline of your body.
Oh, okay.
So in the golf swing, think about your left arm for a right-handed golfer. As you swing back, that left arm sweeps across your chest. That is adduction.
Ah, right, pulling it in across the chest.
Yep. And as you swing through, it moves away. This entire complex has to organize all of those micro movements in a fraction of a second.
That's incredible.
It is. It's what allows the massive energy generated by your heavy lower body to actually make its way into your relatively light arms and the golf club.
Let's build on that car analogy from earlier because this is clicking for me now. You have this massive heavy engine, your lower body, and your trunk generating all this raw power.
Yes, tons of power.
But that power has to get to the axles, which are your arms, and the club. So the shoulder complex is essentially the transmission.
That's a brilliant way to look at it.
It's the gearbox. It has to smoothly step down and transfer the energy.
And if the driver dumps the clutch or slips a gear, the engine just revs and the axles do nothing.
Wow.
Just like a finely tuned transmission, this anatomical bridge requires what we can call a Goldilocks connection. It has to be calibrated perfectly.
Not too loose, not too tight.
Right. The shoulder complex must connect the arms to the body strongly enough to actually carry the heavy energy of the torso.
Okay.
But it also has to allow the arms enough independence to organize the club face.
So what happens at the extremes? Like, what does too loose actually feel like?
Well, if you have too little connection, your arms just collapse. You get a weak kind of noodle arm swing where the body rotates, but the arms just flop around independently.
You see that a lot on the first tee.
Definitely. You'll hit a lot of fast shots and just lack any real compression.
And what if it's too tight?
If you have too much rigidity, like if you tense up your chest and lats, lock your arms to your sides, and just spin your body, it entirely prevents the arms from accelerating properly.
No, because they're stuck to you.
Right. The club gets dragged across the ball, usually resulting in a very weak, wiped slice. The most efficient movement lives right between those two extremes, where the arms are supported but free to release.
Okay, so if that shoulder transmission is so delicate, what physically breaks down out on the golf course when a player buys into the myth and just rips their hips and chest open as fast as they can?
We see a cascading series of biomechanical failures.
Sounds bad.
It is. When a golfer focuses solely on firing the pelvis and the chest, the shoulders get pulled open way before the arms, and the club are prepared to respond.
So the body is essentially rotating away from the arms instead of transferring energy through them.
Exactly. It creates a massive gap between the body and the club.
And that gap just destroys your mechanics.
Oh, absolutely. You might look incredibly open through impact, which is, the picture all the magazines tell you to strive for.
Right, the perfect Instagram swing photo.
Exactly. But the movement lacks all efficiency because the hands and the club were just completely left behind.
I'm thinking of a water skier right now. Imagine you are a water skier. You're the arms and the club in this scenario. And the speedboat is your hips and your torso.
Okay, I like this.
If that speedboat just punches the gas and accelerates violently before the tow rope is actually taut, what happens?
Well, the skier doesn't glide smoothly out of the water, that's for sure.
No. The boat takes off, the slack in the rope suddenly vanishes, and the skier gets violently jerked forward, just face-planting into the wake.
That's completely accurate.
There is a lot of speed from the boat, but absolutely no control for the skier. You're just being dragged.
That violent jerk is exactly what happens to the golf club when the torso outruns the arms. And the physical compensations that result from this are disastrous.
Like what? What happens next?
Because the arms get trapped behind the rotating body, the handle of the club is forced to move excessively outward toward the golf ball.
Wait, why does being trapped behind make the hands move outward?
Because your brain is incredibly smart. Subconsciously, your brain realizes that your body has spun too far open and your arms are stuck behind your trail hip.
Right.
If you just kept rotating, you would completely miss the golf ball. So in a split-second panic to actually reach the ball, your brain fires your shoulders and throws your hands outward.
Oh, wow. Which pitches the shaft straight down into a vertical position.
Yes, that is the exact mechanism that causes the dreaded over-the-top steep downswing that plagues literally millions of golfers.
That makes so much sense.
And it gets worse.
Yeah.
Because the arms were trapped and the shaft got steep, the club face usually remains wide open.
So now you're coming in steep from the outside with an open face. I mean, that is a recipe for a massive slice.
It is. So your brain panics a second time? To save the shot and give the club face time to close, the golfer instinctively loses their posture.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they early extend, standing up and moving their pelvis toward the golf ball to create artificial space.
That's the classic jumping up out of the shot right at impact.
It's a pure survival mechanism. You stand up, and the hands are forced to make this desperate, late, corrective flipping action just to put the club on the ball.
Just to make contact at all.
Right. You might hit it straight occasionally, but you will never have consistent speed or strike control because you are relying on, like, millisecond timing with your hands.
This really highlights a vital distinction for me. Body speed is not the same as clubhead speed.
It's the difference between looking fast and actually being fast. A golfer can produce a lot of violent movement with their torso, but if the energy doesn't reach the club, it's completely useless.
Right.
Conversely, if you watch a professional with a much less aggressive-looking body rotation, someone who looks almost effortless.
Like Ernie Els or someone like that?
Exactly. They can generate massive clubhead speed because their segments are sequenced correctly. The rope is taut. The baton is passed smoothly.
Okay, so if the goal isn't just to spin the hips and drag the arms, how do we reframe our understanding of what rotation is actually supposed to achieve?
Well, first, we have to establish the difference between spinning and functional rotation.
Okay. What is spinning then?
Spinning happens when a golfer just turns in place. They rotate without sufficient vertical force, without a pressure shift, and without segmental control.
Let's define those, just to be clear. What does a pressure shift actually feel like?
A pressure shift is the subtle transfer of your weight. Before you start turning back, you feel the pressure move into your trail foot.
Right.
And crucially, before you finish your backswing, you must feel the pressure shift back into your lead foot. That establishes your anchor.
And the vertical force?
Vertical force is how you use the ground. Once that pressure shifts to your lead foot in the downswing, you push down into the turf so the ground pushes back up against you.
So you're actually pushing away.
Right. That vertical push gives your left hip a stable post to clear around. When you just spin, you don't shift your pressure and you don't push off the ground.
Your body just turns rapidly in a circle.
Exactly, lacking all depth and stability.
So functional rotation is actually grounded. It occurs around a highly stable structure.
Yes. It is supported by pressure control, balance, and coordinated movement.
That's a huge difference.
It is. The purpose of rotation is absolutely not simply to become open. Rotation exists to create space for your arms to drop, to support your balance, to organize the path of the club, and to contribute to the delivery of the club head.
I have to ask the question that I know every golfer listening is wondering right now. We see photos of tour pros at impact, and their hips are cleared 45 degrees, their chest is open to the target, and they look incredibly dynamic.
Right.
If the goal isn't to chase that picture, how do we know what the correct impact position actually is?
Well, this is a major paradigm shift for a lot of players.
Yeah.
There is no universal visual standard for impact.
None. Serious.
None. Some highly effective ball strikers are incredibly open at impact. Others are remarkably square, almost looking like they haven't rotated at all.
That's fascinating.
The correct impact position depends entirely on your specific anatomy, your mobility, your limb length, and your specific club delivery strategy.
So trying to copy someone else is just a bad idea.
Chasing an arbitrary picture of a tour pro you saw on television is a trap. It will completely ruin your unique sequence.
So how do we actually apply this?
Yep.
If we are throwing out the universal impact picture, we need a practical way to evaluate our own swings.
You diagnose the movement, not the still frame.
Oh, I like that.
You need to ask yourself functional questions. Instead of asking, how open are my hips on video, you should ask, does my pelvis create space without outrunning my upper body?
Diagnosing a golf swing this way is a lot like diagnosing a recipe. You don't just look at a photo of a beautifully plated dish to see if it's going to taste good.
Exactly. You have to know how the ingredients were combined.
Right. If I'm making a cake and I add the eggs after I bake the flour, it doesn't matter how fast I mixed it or how it looks on the plate, it's going to be a disaster. The sequence is the entire recipe.
And in golf, if your arms arrive after your hips have already finished their job, the recipe is ruined. Another diagnostic question you should ask is, does my rib cage actually support the movement of my arms?
Let's give the listener a way to test that. How on earth do you feel if your rib cage is supporting your arms while you're swinging a metal stick at 100 miles an hour?
A great way to feel this is to focus on your sternum.
Okay, the sternum.
When you make a practice swing, try to feel your sternum pointing roughly at the golf ball when you make impact, or maybe just slightly ahead of it.
Right.
If you feel your chest pointing way out toward the target line while your arms are still rushing down to find the ball, your rib cage has abandoned your arms.
Your transmission is blown.
Precisely.
That is incredibly practical. It gives you an actual sensation to look for rather than just an angle to measure on a screen.
Ultimately, the real question you are trying to answer is, can my shoulders remain connected while still allowing my arms the freedom to release the club?
Does the handle of the club move in a functional, efficient direction, or do I have to manipulate it at the last second?
Exactly.
These diagnostic tools really compile into a completely different philosophy for how to practice. It is all about coordinated rotation versus maximum rotation.
A functional golf swing is built entirely on coordination. Higher clubhead speed, more distance, tighter dispersion. They all come from better coordination.
Not just violently spinning.
Right. They do not come from uncontrolled speed or forcing your body to wrench itself open. You only want to rotate enough to support the delivery of the club.
We can really synthesize this biomechanical deep dive into 4 foundational pillars. If someone is heading to the driving range later today, this is essentially the checklist.
Definitely. First pillar, rotate with purpose. Stop spinning just to spin.
Right. Use your rotation to create space and balance. What's the second?
Second pillar is connect the segments.
Yeah.
This is the shoulder transmission we talked about. Make sure the engine is actually attached to the axles.
Third pillar, transfer the energy. Remember the relay race. Your segments have to accelerate and then decelerate to pass the baton. You can't just sprint through the handoff.
Exactly. And the fourth pillar, deliver the club efficiently. Everything else is just a setup for the moment the metal meets the urethane.
If you satisfy those 4 pillars, you're going to have a functional, powerful golf swing, regardless of what your angles look like on a camera.
Absolutely.
Okay, I love those pillars, but I want to throw one final, highly realistic scenario at you.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's say I'm standing on the 18th tee box. It's a long par 5. I've got a little adrenaline pumping. Maybe there's a small wager on the line with my friends.
Of course.
And I have the overwhelming biological urge to just swing as hard as I possibly can to squeeze out an extra 20 yards. What is your advice for handling that urge?
Well, it is the ultimate test of a golfer's discipline. When that adrenaline hits, you have to consciously trust the sequence over brute force.
Just the sequence.
You have to remind yourself that forcing your body to open faster will only blow the transmission. Your body speed will spike, it will feel like you are swinging incredibly hard, but your clubhead speed will actually plummet.
Because you've destroyed the energy transfer.
Exactly. To hit it further, you don't need to spin your hips faster. You need to coordinate your sequence better.
Trust the sequence over brute force. I mean, that is a mantra every golfer needs to write on their golf glove.
It really is.
It leads perfectly into a final thought and a specific challenge I want to leave you with today. The next time you are on the driving range and you set up your phone to film your swing, I want you to try something completely different.
Yeah, try this out.
Stop agonizing over your hips. In fact, physically cover up the lower half of your phone screen with your hand and watch only your upper body. Look specifically at your shoulder complex.
To see what's actually happening there.
Right. Is it acting as a solid functional bridge, transferring power smoothly from your ribs to your arms? Or is it just being violently dragged along for the ride by your torso, like a sports car screaming in neutral?
That's the real test.
Evaluate the bridge, find the connection, and you might just unlock the effortless speed you've been searching for.
Such great advice.
And before we wrap up today's deep dive, I have a quick note to share with you. If you found today's episode valuable, please subscribe to our channel. Every subscription helps us continue producing high-quality educational content for golfers and coaches worldwide.
We really appreciate it.
If you have a question, topic idea, or golf challenge you would like us to research, test, and explain, please leave a comment, contact us on LinkedIn, or send us an email.
We'd love to hear from you.
Don't forget to explore the eCoach 360-degree golf intelligence platform and experience our 48-hour free trial. You can also join our 30-day golf biomechanics, kinematics, ground reaction forces, and Club Kinematic certification program to deepen your understanding of golf performance.